what this way? What is action? What has fascinated? This is the story of Chris Chan. On August 9th, 2020, after Chris Chan followers expressed concern over the leaked video in which Sonichu, while allegedly possessing Christine's body, states what arrangements are to be made regarding her possessions in the event Chris ceased to exist in the real-world dimension, the alleged Sonichu wrote a couplet of reassuring tweets. Hey y'all, simple clarification if a certain new rumor, if you have not heard, do not worry or go looking into it. Simple and direct. Barb and I are safe, well, and okay. In the sequence of events, this was timed as a think-ahead moment for this timeline. Lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt emojis. Now, after reading all of that and this, what are you feeling right now? If you feel a good and calm sensation, you will have a lucky and blessed day today. Otherwise, if you feel weirded out, consider yourselves blessed your day is remaining neutral after this moment. On August 10th, Not, veritable leader of the Place Discord server, joined the recently founded official Quickie Discord server meant for general discussion of Chris Chan, and proceeded to leak many private photos and correspondences that Christine and later Sonichu shared privately with members of the place. Not soon after invited the alleged Sonichu to the Quickie server as well, who quickly joined for himself. Over on the Place server, Sonichu asked the other members there what to say on the Quickie server, since he was told that there would be people who would be willing to serve him. Upon perusing the Quickie server some further, Sonichu found photos of writings meant for Chris's friend Kai, which were sent to him privately, expressing his annoyance at seeing them leaked on Discord. Other members reasoned the leak came about because Kai was a dumbass. Sonichu agreed, but clarified that he was a good kind of dumbass, who possessed powers and abilities that were allegedly personally verified. 2 days later, the purported Sonichu made a public announcement on the Quickie server, letting everyone know that he was not only busy with dealings concerning the dimensional merge, but also planning to bring Christine's body into Dimension C-197 and later travel back in time to prevent the COVID-19 pandemic from ever happening. He also asked for everyone to speak with him and treat him with sincerity and honesty, claiming he did not support neat behavior, derogatorily referring to those not in employment, education, or training. On August 14th, moderators of the Quickie Discord decided to remove and ban Christine's account from the server, noting that their original aim, like that of the Quickie website, was to catalog Chris's activities and to not directly interact with her or provide her with a platform to spread her beliefs. Klopp, the founder of the official Quickie server, then founded the server Quick Friends. Chiefly run by Not, the new server was a dedicated space for Christine or Sonichu to communicate with supposed fans, where people could offer their questions, which would be privately sorted through and directly messaged to Christine's account. The server was shut down less than a month after its inception, as Not had trouble managing the increasing numbers of antagonistic, low-effort trolls and troublemakers, or weens. In the midst of this, Chris as Sonichu was frequently communicating with the enabling members of the Place Discord, in addition to some fictional characters that were being portrayed by them, one of which was Lane Chu the Chronicler, created by Chris, inspired by the anime Serial Experiments Lane, allegedly introduced to her by Not. Lane Chu served to document Christine's activities in the Discord server and would occasionally disseminate information to the Quickie and Kiwi farms, as well as offer Chris and Sonichu words of support and guidance, mostly concerning the merge. Lane Chu was played as possessing the bodies of several of the play's members. Initially, the character spoke through Not, who then briefly passed into Klopp. In August, new The Place member Anaxis was instructed to take over the role of Lane Chu, who spoke with Sonichu in public and private, as Sonichu was seeking advice about the coming dimensional merge. Anaxes was coached by Not how to respond, eventually learning to give him pseudo-philosophical words of guidance relating to the importance of patience and letting nature take its course, which Sonichu seemed to accept. Anaxes reasoned that even though he was enabling Christine to keep her comfortable and open to their input, he insisted that it was important to not offer her any new ideas and maintain her current belief system. On August 16th, the purported Sonichu posted on Twitter of his efforts in replacing Chris's broken air conditioner, attaching photos of Sonichu using her neckwear/mask around her forehead to form a quote-unquote three-quarter do-rag. He then posted a photo of the newly installed AC unit in the window. On August 22nd, a Reddit user met Sonichu possessing Christine's body while in the gas station/minimart Sheets and posted a photo of the two together. Also on that day, Anaxes as Lanechu held a question and answer session with Christine as Sonichu after compiling a range of feasibly acceptable and interesting questions from several people. In regards to Chris's father Bob, Sonichu wrote that Robert Chu was annoying for Chris, but still wise and intelligent, having his work greatly appreciated. Regarding Joshua Moon, or Null, the administrator of the QB Farms, Sonichu wrote that he and Chris felt neutral towards him, acknowledging all the help he had contributed, but was displeased with Null's disbelief in things quote-unquote fictional. Notably, when Lanechu asked Sonichu if he had ever heard the song Baba O'Reilly by rock band The Who, the alleged Sonichu wrote, "Heard it in a movie before." Sonichu quickly edited the message to read, "Mama's heard it in a movie before." On August 26th, Chris's Twitter account blocked Jacob Sockness. Jacob then decreed that he could feel the light of God return to his house and the shadow of Satan descend into darkness after freeing from Chris. He added that he would be casting major spells on her, warning those living near her should move far away. Sockness would go on to his personal subforum or subreddit on the site Reddit to elaborate that he also blocked Christine because it was clear to him that she was only faking her magical powers and was unable to assist him in the dimensional merge. Jacob was certain she would not be able to reach him again over social media. On August 27th, Chris announced through her Discord account to the place that Sonichu had stopped possessing her body and was now in control of the Christine Weston Chandler from Dimension 1214. Lanechu took the opportunity to ask some questions, such as what were the major differences between Dimensions 1214 and 1218. Christine as Christine wrote that pop star Michael Jackson had released 2 more albums and lived some years longer in the alternate dimension. After answering a few questions, Chris told Lanechu that it was not a good time for a Q&A, for her brain was fatigued after a very active day. The next day, after Sonichu apparently taken back control of Chris's body, the place members held an informal chat and question and answer session over Google Hangouts.
What do you want to be remembered as, and what do you think you will be remembered for?
Well, she wants to be remembered as for who she is, for her life so far and still ongoing. She's essentially living on forever, and this body's living forever, by the way, you know that. But she would probably want to be remembered as kind, positive person she always has been and is always meant to be, and also the literal goddess that she is. And then of course her art and books and all that.
Somebody asked, you had to retire from the mayorship of CWCville because it was too much responsibility. Are you sure you want to become a deity? It has a lot more responsibilities than being mayor.
Okay, well, that fell on Christine Chen, Mama's silk counterpart in C197, and she literally fell into that. And this goes along with the past dislike of the LGBT, where Christine Chen went forward in time to obviously an alternate timeline where they literally had come up with this anti-gay serum, and then she literally came back in time with that. Yeah, Magic Chen just knew that was coming and wasn't going to be able to stop Christine Chen from doing that. And, she was about to essentially going to put it in the water system, but then she got stopped by Magic Chan, and she had to resign from being mayor at that time. And aside from that, from all the other specimens of that particular substance that might have been brought back in time were just essentially neutralized and properly disposed of. All of it.
Huh.
During this time, Chris or Sonichu nominated the Chandler's house to become a Pokestop within the augmented reality game Pokemon Go, which would enable players of the game to go to her house's location and collect in-game items. The nomination was quickly rejected. A couple of days later, QB Farms users noted that Chris's Quick Fill shopping website was down, but neither Chris nor Sonichu addressed the matter. On the final day of August, QB Farms user Unrequited Dogpilings shared scans of court documents concerning Christine's trespass after forbidden charge in 2018, noting that she signed the documents with the name Chris Chan Sonichu, written in jagged lightning-esque lettering. On September 2nd, Chris's 2 debt repayment cases were finalized, ruling that Christine was to pay back to the plaintiffs a combined total of between $3,500 and $4,000. At around this time, the alleged Sonichu sent text messages to Knot, revealing that the reason Sonichu and Christine were still in Dimension 1218 and not in C197 was because she needed Maker Nightfee and Knot to come live close to Chris's house in Ruckersville, Virginia, so they could activate certain events. On September 3rd, Knot began posting on the QB Farms private messages and screenshots from Chris and Sonichu, writing that these correspondences were with quote-unquote Watchmen, a title given to the active members of the place, inspired by the 2009 film Watchmen. At this point, the identities and the modus operandi of the Watchmen were unknown to the general Christian following public. On September 4th, Christine's YouTube account posted a short video starring her mother Barbara, updating her audience of her condition so that people would not ask Sonichu about her state in his upcoming livestream.
Action.
My name is Barbara Chandler. I'm doing fine. What do you want to know?
Ask questions in the comments below or wherever to my associates, yada yada, and come on, say something else.
I don't know what else there to do. I'm doing fine. That's all I can say. Thank you for being interested.
Soon after, Sonichu livestreamed himself reacting to part 4 of YouTube Brony cartoon series Red vs. Blue.
We're gonna respond to Analysis Anarchy Part 4. It's pretty much a bit of a wait right now, so everybody just relax, we're all good. I'll probably offer some thoughts along the way, just, randomly, whatever, yada yada yada. And all donations to the Super Chat are greatly appreciated, so thank you. Shower a little while ago, so that's why it looks like the hair is a little wet. That's why. You're seeing Rosie right here. Right here. Right here. She's right here sitting next to me. And you see me talked in lines and sync. So that's good. That is more than enough good stuff for you, even regardless of the fact that, it's all true. You know that. Everybody knows it. I know it. Feel it. Everybody feels it. Speaking of which, if you could see the aura through this video, and everything else, then you're psychic and you're awesome. I'm doing a thing. Yeah, you've already seen Barb in the video that I just uploaded a few minutes ago, so you have no reason to ask about Barbara, because that's her. She's okay, she's safe, she's well, and she's not being held hostage either, so shut the hell up, you frickin' fucking haters! Wow, closer to the time than I thought. 8 minutes to go. Just gonna leave a comment. How y'all doing, analysts? I am reasonably excited for part 4. The previous parts have been very good. So good that I am literally watching them again. After having foreseen and watched in other timelines. Many deja vu's incoming. This whole body, it's numb. It's been numb for months. It's been feeling numb for months. So, I ain't hurting. No pain. It's literally an immortal body that's staying alive for a long, long time. You know, like thousands of years and so on, or beyond that. Infinity. I get it. Stop it with the Barbing. Stop making Barbara a meme, alright? That's enough. Stop talking about Barb. I don't know how to disable live chats from phone or... is this it? Good. Phew. Hooray. I don't have to look at him anymore. So tired. I'm so tired. Oh my Christian, why am I still here in this dimension? Why am I not in Quickville yet? I like that guy from the anime Erased. If that's gonna happen, just a simple whoop, revive, turn around. I'm in Quickville. Instead of here. I'm in C197. Here. Instead of here. I'm right here, in the spot, in this room, and I'm in the same dimension as Rosie once again. I need to be in the same dimension as Rosie. I'm right. Let's be in the same dimension as Rosie. I'm just running at max speed. You don't know how racing has been for the last 6 months. I was a simple Pikachu, and then I had to get bumped. I had to get collide with Supersonic Senpai, my senpai, and all that. Just, I was a wild Pokemon.
A form of power that afflicts its victims with pop culture powers most garish and cringy. But I had to make sure it worked, so I tried it on others.
Cheers, love. The cavalry's here.
Quite.
Nice.
On September 7th, Sonichu, or Chris, instructed Not how to fulfill orders on her behalf whenever her fans would purchase her Twilight Sparkles secret chipfic folder cards or Sonichu comic books, giving him access to her Google account and sharing with him names and addresses of the buyers. The next day, the Watchman founded the Quick Questions Discord server, which was dedicated for Christian followers to submit their questions that would later be asked by Lanechu to Chris or Sonichu. Lanechu would go on to ask the supposed Sonichu a selection of questions over the following weeks, with Sonichu revealing the so-called most challenging artwork Chris had ever made, a drawing comprising of 9 A4-sized pages taped together, depicting CPU Blueheart, the most prevalent Sonichu characters, and the CPUs from Hyperdimension Neptunia. Another time, he revealed the lyrics of the Michael Jackson song Ride or Die, recorded by the artist in Dimension 1214, after the date he passed away in Dimension 1218. I'm getting older. I don't lie. I don't feel the age. I've got my wisdom, my faith. I'm a sage. Life is a stage. We play our parts, but in my life I stay young at heart. I've been up, down, and around. I'm not from this part of town. I've come from the hood of child. Their youthful antics are from the wild. It is a miracle to keep that mood when getting older's got you brewed. Verse. I'm living my life in this later age. I'm a bit of a sage, but my youth keeps me wild and alive. Gotta stay young, because it's all ride or die. On September 13th, a Sonichu-focused Twitter account holder posted a photo of herself embracing her illustration of Sonichu. The supposed Sonichu using Christine's account wrote to her that a Sonichu that tall was very rare, as their species was typically 3 foot 5 inches tall. Soon after, Sonichu wrote a message in Chinese, Japanese, and Spanish, likely utilizing the Google Translate translation service, which roughly translated as, "Listen, everyone around the world. Christian Sonichu is our goddess and savior. She is going to right the remaining wrongs as we coexist in the same dimension combined with all the fictional and original characters. He added that Christine, their goddess, could hear and speak all languages. Also on that day, a user on the DIY product-focused merchant site Etsy complained on Christine's old Etsy storefront, noting that it had been 3 years since they ordered from Chris, but their order remained unfulfilled. It was around this time that Chris came in contact with a group of individuals based in Goochland County, Virginia, that would come to call themselves Praetor, who planned to collaborate with her in producing Sonichu medallions and other Christian-related merchandise on her behalf, with the aim of having their joint venture being financially beneficial for both parties. They first came to personally visit the Chandler's residence and handed Sonichu in Christine's body a Sonichu medallion with infused gold coloring they had crafted themselves. After at least one meeting over lunch, the supposed Sonichu gave them his and his mother's blessing to proceed with the opening of an online shop on Etsy and begin mass-producing medallions. On September 25th, one Justin, a buyer of 2 Sonichu comic books, texted Christine complaining that his order remained unfulfilled after a significant delay, having failed to hear back from her so-called partner handling the order. He threatened to sue the Chandlers and take them to court with the hopes of landing them in prison if Chris didn't respond with a plan to resolve the issue by 10:30 p.m. of that night. The following day, after getting no response, Justin messaged her again, claiming he would take legal action that would lead to the demolishment of her house. Kristen responded, writing that she and her accomplices were going through a major grind of all the events, as her brain was psychically linked to everything. She explained that she was allegedly being helped by Null, along with other allies, to help with her back orders. Chris added that a refund for Justin could not be issued, as funds had been more than fickle around there, and told him to blame any further delays on Null. She expressed that she would not tolerate any more of his hate-filled trolling, and that he would get us comics when they would be ready. Justin went on to write in length that he was not a troll, and that he simply demanded what he paid $30 for, branding her a thief, and claimed that Christine would go to prison for not fulfilling his order and cause the Chandlers to lose their house. On September 28th, the alleged Sonichu wrote through Christine's Twitter account that the Quickfill shopping site had been closed for a while due to her inability to pay for the website hosting costs. He added that he was working with other unnamed friends and supposed allies that would be selling and producing on her behalf the Sonichu comics, custom Twilight Sparkles, secret chipfic folder cards, Sonichu medallions, and so on. Sonichu added that the COVID-19 pandemic had been most discordant with this dimension and timeline, but told Chris's followers to chillax. He continued that he did not appreciate a pinned post in the Christian subforum on QB Farms, wherein Null tells readers to not buy anything from Christine. Sonichu closed by telling people to stop hating on them, since they were dealing with psychic and deity-level problems that would be explained later on. The alleged Sonichu then posted new photos of Chris's Sonichu medallion hanging from her necklace, visibly warping on the surface and encrusted in possible grime. On September 30th, after Barbara received flowers from someone who claimed to be her son, the movie critic Cole Smithy, in commemoration of her upcoming birthday, Sonichu in response posted on Christine's YouTube account a video starring Barbara, directed at Chris's half-brother Cole.
Hi, Cole. Thanks for the flowers. They're beautiful. That was very sweet of you. I remember all the cards and letters that you mailed me when you were in college. I still have them, and I still read them. It's so nice to be reminded of your love and support. Thank you very much. I love you.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Hey, Cole. Got a little message for you myself, brother. This is actually Sonichu. Yeah, the one and only prime of the Sonichu species from our sister dimension that's literally right next door to you. Hey, you've been hanging out next to Iron Man. Literally. You've been hanging out with Iron Man and the Avengers and some of the DC heroes and everybody. But aside from that, I gotta tell you, Cole, all the stuff you pulled against Barb over these years, and I've heard about through Mama's memory, because I only just swapped bodies with Mama, like with Christine, like what, literally 6 months ago today, and I just have so many of my own shares of things and whatnot that I can solely speak to you on her behalf. Got my own problems here, hard grief, yada 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 yada, and so forth. It'll alarm me some. I don't have a script. I'm not going on a script, but Cole, I'll give you this props. At least you came through on doing this nice thing for Barb in her later years, right before we're actually going on with the Dimension Merge, where you will literally be able to meet Iron Man, but also just to drive over to Jersey and literally meet Batman. So have fun knowing that, Joseph Cole Smithy. And shoot, Zuzana, that's still a thing. And you know what? I'm just gonna do what Mama did, like, hey, whoop-de-doo for him. Because she did that, and I just felt like I wanted to do that. Hey, you got married without inviting her and Barb. So there's that. Although I will say one thing on behalf of Mama. You're right about Barb on a number of things. And Mama was mistaken. So there's that. She's learned. Barbara yelled at Mama. So there's that. Let you know about that. But it's a whole different kettle of fish. If you feel like you want to talk about this personally, feel free to call or text at pretty much the phone number that's been popularized all over the internet. Alright? Anyway, all the way here in Ruckersville, Virginia, in this dimension 1218, originating from C197. Thanks, Cole. Have a good day.
On October 1st, Sonichu wished Barbara a happy 79th birthday on Chris's Twitter account. The next day, Sonichu received a set of Sonichu wire art from a DIY wire artist, thanking them publicly on Twitter. The artist in return expressed her happiness at meeting a fellow artist and creative soul, and sent a virtual hug to Chris's mother. Later on, the alleged Sonichu livestreamed his reaction to the premiere of Analysis Anarchy, Red vs. Blue, Part 5.
It is a good angle anyway. If it's a bit lopsided one way or the other, my bad. I got this thing on the body pillow. So and also with that said, shout out with a happy birthday to Barbara. Her birthday was yesterday. She just turned 79 years old. So, toast to that. She should have quite a few more to go. And y'all get to see me eat a cupcake, so whoop-de-doo.
He proceeds to eat a cupcake on camera.
Nah, but this brain. I feel like I want to talk about something else, but this brain can be a bit slow at times. So it's like I'm in the process of one thought, and it's like another thought comes along. I don't know, and then it just draws a blank. Oh yeah, well I guess another thing I can talk about is Dimension Merge. It's still happening. It's happening. It's continuing its progress. You're seeing everything happen, one moment at a time, literally. And I am speaking, and to Chris Chan and all other deities. But yeah, essentially to just be like, hey, what's the Dimension Merge about? I mean, shoot. Didn't Mama go through it enough already on Twitter and Facebook and whatever about months to a year ago or something? Yada, yada, yada. But long story short, we OCs and FCs, that's original characters and fictional characters that y'all consider that y'all been chronicling, drawing, writing about, yada, yada, yada. We all exist and coexist. Right next to y'all through a dimensional curtain divide that's invisible for the most part, but you can sense it. Only select few could be as sensitive as that. But at least obviously not a living receiver, because I'm very conscious and aware of it all. Because, Mama's been very conscious and aware. And then guess what? Clearly, over 6 months now. It turned 6 months just 2 days ago on the 30th of September. 6 months! I've been here for 6 months! I've been in this body for 6 months! Since Mama and I swapped last March. But yeah, essentially, alright, so all of us over there, y'all over here, y'all chronicle us, and we even chronicle all of you. I feel a burp coming on. Excuse me. Just had some veggies. I hate when this brain goes blank! Noise. The medic duo of Doc and Brand. Uber up the dock! Meatballs!
Correct. Hold on.
Meatballs!
Meanwhile,
It's the Dragonzor! Yee!
Possibly in response to the reactions in the stream, Sonichu posted a Twitter poll asking Christian followers whether they would be interested in reading a written Bible of sorts regarding the dimensional merge, with a large majority voting in its favor. Soon after the announcement, an unknown enabler via text message encouraged Chris to proceed to write a Bible based on her existence, laws, and prophecies to counteract the slanderous writings posted on the Quickie and Kiwi forums. They added that they envisioned the scripture would serve great importance after the dimensional merge. During this time, a college student of around 18 years of age on the autism spectrum, who would be referred to as the Sutras, was developing a well-known reputation on the Quickie Discord server for her supposed infatuation with Chris, after making frequent posts regarding Chris's attractiveness and sex appeal, perhaps being perceived as ironic. However, she would soon confess to friends and on online message boards that she had gotten true desirous feelings for Chris. In early October, Quickie Discord moderator Anaxis privately messaged the Sutras upon learning that she had contacted Christine's phone to at least send her a drawing she had made, in addition to possibly chatting with her as well on separate occasions. Anaxis warned her about contacting Chris since it was against the rules of the server, telling her not to do so again lest she face more serious consequences. On October 5th, a Reddit user posted a photo of Chris's body driving the family car while in the Ruckersville area. On the 8th, Sonichu, while in possession of Christine's body, drove to Pennsylvania to return a box of over 50 items that was sent by one Luke that were to be autographed by Chris. Luke in return paid her $190, mostly for her travel expenses. He would go on to resell the items on the online marketplace, Mercari, under the false pretense that the items had been owned by Christian. At Luke's house, the two ended up playing the video game Super Smash Bros. Ultimate together. After leaving his home, Sonichu then drove to the last known address of Transformers-focused toy review YouTuber MGO316 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, for an unsolicited visit to offer him some gifts and to meet with a friend of his who supposedly possessed psychic senses. MGO had in fact sold the residence to a Spanish-speaking woman who wound up opening the door for Sonichu and explaining to him the situation. Also at around this time, Sonichu recounted a dream he had with the Watchman, which consisted of a large golden disc that Sonichu believed could be the key to breaking through the Iron Curtain and allowing him back into his dimension of C-197. In the coming days, mostly with the help of the Place member, Kyle, Sonichu drew the golden disc, divided into different sections, and inscribed with symbols taken from the Zodiac, the Japanese samurai moral code of Bushido, Pokemon, and Sonic the Hedgehog. Also during this time frame, Sonichu revealed the front cover for the unfinished comic Sonichu issue 17, depicting Christine dressed in her Gopnik attire, accompanied by her supposed spouses, Magi-chan Sonichu and Krizel Rosechu. On October 13th, Isabella Loretta Janke, or Bella, a longtime follower of Christian, masqueraded as an employee of subscription video streaming service CuriosityStream, offering Christine a chance to appear on an upcoming podcast episode focusing on people with autism in collaboration with Discovery Channel Ficology. Bella offered Chris a payment of $30 per 1,000 views, and added that their program would typically get 20 to 30,000 views. It is unclear whether Christine responded to the email. Bella was also known to be at the time a member of Onion Farms, a QB farm-style lolcow-focused website created by former Christian follower and enabler Kenneth Engelhart, where she was temporarily banned for offering to sell the private information, or docs, of other users of the site. On October 15th, Sonichu revealed to members of the Place Discord server that he was handwriting a script for a supposed sermon that was to be recorded the following day by members of the organization Praetor. Caden, the leader of the Praetor group, was then invited to join the Place, where they discussed their future merchandising plans with Chris and Sonichu. While conversation remained amicable, the Watchmen were quietly suspicious of Praetor's true intentions, thinking it possible that Praetor would take advantage and manipulate Chris. On October 16th, the supposed Sonichu met with members of Praetor at a meeting room in Goochland Public Library, where they took a series of promotional photos that were posted on the photo-based social platform Instagram. The private accounts of most of the members were also tagged in the photos, which allowed for Christian followers to uncover their true identities. They also recorded a video sermon presented by Sonichu, standing behind a podium with a projected background. Praetor, who edited the video, occasionally added overlaid annotation text throughout, which communicated a sarcastic and trollsome tone regarding their belief in Sonichu's words. The video sermon was published at a later date.
God wants on the point of a line. Chris! It's Christian! Chris! It's Christian! See you later, this is someone called Green. Here we go again, motherfucker!
Hey everybody, Sanchi here, still in Mama's body for since 6 months since she and I body swapped. But anyway, so I wrote my own little speech that talks about updates that happened since when Mama originally talked about the dimension merge. It's still in progress. Emotion and heart and everything is in there. So let's get down to it. So let me see. Let's talk about the communities and what y'all in 1218 here can and should do. Anyway, so most everyone has prepared their evac kits, taken up survival and outdoor learning from various books and educational videos, etc. And in each country and city, they have their plans made out and distributed. They distributed pamphlets on those. Even President Herbert Garrison, who's pretty much Donald Trump's self-counterpart, frickin' Trump. Garrison called the prep work plans in order. Thank deities we do not have your frickin' pandemic and C197 social distancing orders. God, I'm a mess and shit. I mean, jeez, I can't wait to get back into C197 with this body. More and more portals and breaks have been appearing and manifesting around the world and throughout the galaxies of the Iron Curtain between our dimensions. And some have safely and successfully traversed to the other dimension and back. Everyone who has perished so far, meeting Mama's estimates respectively, have safely merged and awakened in their self-counterparts' bodies, brains, and consciousness. The tallied numbers of individuals in C197 who are confirmed of waking up here to be in the millions. Also, we have confirmed buildings and objects fully transitioning into the other dimension from the other side, such as Gotham City in C197 has seen buildings from this dimension appear on the outskirts around them. The temples in Saudi Arabia crumbled in C197, and your temples appear to replace them. And I can go on with Notre Dame and all the California that burned in favor of those cities from C197 into 1218, including Elmore. The OG Rishi Ram was doing a bang-up job and bringing on the firestorms here. But fortunately, in combination between both dimensions, most everyone got out of the transitioning buildings and survived. The combined number of deaths by becoming stuck invading in walls, floors, and so on. We're just over 10 people. Just that, 10. I was also aware of Mama in 1218. I've never acted against either of them. All of them freaking idea guy and his damnable villain of it powers put a major pain on our Earth and Equestria in C-197. Those damn freaking Nazis manipulating the CPUs with his freaking OC Johnson Wallace, soldier of war and whatever. Ah, what a freaking manipulator. Mark, just take his ass all over the place. And idea guy he got into my brain and turned me against her. It was freaking horrible. And Mama had not ever stopped being kind with me, but I was so blinded. And as I had threatened her, and then she got tough love with me, just broke me out, brought me back to myself. Whew, boy, a world of relief when she finally used her ether to undo all the idea guy's chaos in C-197. I've also traversed and visited other planets, dimensions, and timelines with Rosie, by myself, or with Magic Chan, or whoever, for additional tech, resources, and useful supplies. We definitely certainly got a bit of help, despite his freaking retardedness, but not from freaking Jacob Sockness and his freaking link with Jacoba on Andromeda. But at least we have our allies that are outside of that freaking OG Oedipus of a thing, whatever. But then finally, the big moment. Magic Chan told me as much as possible of the upcoming body swap that I was going to do between Mama and I. Come March 31st, Krakow, zapping it up to the extreme. Here I was, and still am, over 6 months now. I tell you all, sincerely, directly, and very clearly as possible, the majority of you all can hardly ever comprehend the genuine overpower, abilities, endurance, fortitude, and overall strength and speed this one body and brain literally has. So many visions, so many deja vu moments, telepathy, telekinesis, and so on to every power all of you can think of in this dimension, and then some. No exaggerations. And no lies either, I tell you. And the powers of this body and this brain have become easier to utilize. It also goes off in massive aura energy, glowing. Look at all this glow around me. If you all can see this through the video, you are psychically, spiritually awesome. This body and brain are literally working, doing, interdimensionally and goddessly traversing tough, rough, and hard every single millisecond. And I, Sanchu, have tried and kept on and continuing on until that day in the new pandemic-free version of this, the Omega timeline, because I'm going back in time with this body after I get back into C-197, finally return this body to Mama in the new timeline at BabsCon 2020. How will I, Sanchu, am unable to do Mama's job as good as only she, our OG Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu of Earth's 1218 and C-197 can do. This work, her body, her brain, her goddess level overpowers and abilities, they're all literally tailored and custom made only for her. I never should have ever doubted her. I sincerely pledged and repledged my duty, loyalty, and best of myself, my powers and abilities to her now, and after which she and I swap back to our original bodies in a new timeline. All praise, prayers, and power to our goddess of 1218 and C-197, Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu.
way? What was fascinated? This is the story of Chris Chan. Around mid-October 2020, Sonichu, allegedly still possessing Christine's body, secured an upcoming interview opportunity with The Create Unknown, a weekly podcast hosted by Kevin Lieber and Matthew Tabor, who aimed to have conversations with notable online creators. In preparation, Knot, leader of the Watchmen, requested to hold a private question and answer session that would be audio recorded by Knot to test Chris's equipment. On October 18th, Sonichu answered Knot's collected questions via the Discord voice chat function and was recorded on Knot's device. Unfortunately, Knot's recording failed, and so Sonichu was asked to record the questions and answers himself at a future date. On October 21st, Chris as Sonichu announced in the Place Discord server that the so-called "it" was happening, further elaborating that he was referring to foretold dimensional breaches and magical happenings, such as the electricity temporarily going out in Christine's locale without seeming cause. On October 22nd, Chris as Sonichu wrote a long Twitter thread regarding his yet unpublished video sermon recorded by the merchandising team Prater at Goochland Public Library, largely copying and pasting the script into the tweets. The next day in the place, Sonichu recounted that he enacted a near half-hour-long ritual in Chris's room because resonances, visions, and psychic pangs were strong all day. He played a mental training meditation audio track in the background as he used special crystals, magical rocks, and a ritualistically modified mirror to meditate deeply and move her hands in certain ways in an attempt to dismantle the Iron Curtain dividing the two sister dimensions. He concluded the session at midnight by dancing to the main theme song of the game Sonic Adventure 2, Live and Learn by Crush 40, and announced that the ritual was a success. On October 24th, a Twitter user drew Christine in a realistic and unflattering way, asking her Twitter account what she thought of it. Seemingly, Chris replied to state that the drawing was "aight." On October 26th, Sonichu re-recorded his Q&A session on Christine's device using the audio editing application Audacity and sent the recording to Knot.
I'm going to go over those questions that I had previously answered from Lane Chew, but that audio recording didn't quite go through, so I'm going to answer these questions once again. Over a year ago, a video that showed you yelling at a toilet and asking where Crystal went leaked out to the internet. What led to the creation of this video and why was it recorded? You can blame frickin' idea guy / Joshua Wise for that, because he had told Mama that we Sonichus and Rose Chews did not like using the toilet, treat it like an enemy, which that is not true. We respect and use the toilet when we are civilized, and Rosie and I, among us specials, and the rest of us who actually live in a domicile, we respect and are domesticated. So that was just manipulation of idea guide. That was the reasoning behind that. Dear Christine and Sonichu, what's your favorite thing about Quickville? Alright, well, Mama's favorite thing about Quickville, obviously, well, she really likes the shopping mall. That was among the best buildings she actually put a whole lot of soul and dedication into, and then also later on that got reflected into our main Basilicom of Quickville. And that's for me and my favorite part of Quickville. I mean, I have the aspect I like running through the entire city, just having that freedom and ability. Just the streets are usually cool runnings for me, and I can run on the buildings and everything. So that's my favorite things about Quickville. I get running freedom on the roads, and the skies look great, and I love the park also. The mall's cool though. Just throwing that in there as a bonus. Dear Christine, if you could meet one famous person, dead or alive, who would it be and why? Well, It was a short list of a long list because Mama has a lot of past and present celebrities that she would love to meet and hang out with. Red Skelton, he's a funny comedian. She really likes him on that. And Lucille Ball, another funny comedian. She has lots of respect for her as well. Well, she would love to meet Betty White. There's also, of course, Britney Spears, Amy Jo Johnson, who originally played the Pink Ranger on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Kelsey Grammer. Oh yeah, and Pamela Anderson, to name another. Dear Christine, what do you believe was the coolest thing you've done as a child? I'd say the coolest thing she ever done was, at only a few weeks old, she said the word monkey, as opposed to mommy, or even possibly as opposed to Maggie, as in Magic-chan. And then, of course, after that, because of the autism, about 1.5 years old, she stopped talking, but then she regained her ability to talk about 7 years old, and that's been a really cool thing. And again, I guess another cool thing you could say she's also done was winning that $1,000 shopping spree at KB Toys thanks to my senpai, Sonic the Hedgehog, and his Watch You Win sweepstakes, sponsored by Sega. Next question.
It was around this time that wannabe troll Isabella Loretta Janke got in touch with Prater, who then allowed her to get in contact with Christine or Sonichu personally. After some unknown discussion, Sonichu commissioned Bella to create an intro of a hypothetical cartoon series focusing on Christine's adventures. He messaged Bella with the specifications for the animation, noting that it should look like a magical girl transformation sequence as seen in many Japanese anime, such as Sailor Moon. On October 28th, Sonichu was interviewed through Discord by the hosts of the Create Unknown podcast, while watched live by their paying Patreon supporters, with Watchmen Anaxis and Nova allowed to join and quietly observe the conversation, serving as mediators. Anaxis was also recording the conversation, which allowed for the Create Unknown YouTube channel to upload the uncut recording as an unlisted video at a later time.
Alright, and let me just go ahead and make it clear. In case y'all didn't get the memo like over 6 months ago, yeah, this is actually Sonichu you're talking to, yeah. Christine and I, we swapped bodies over 6 months ago, and I'm still here, so while you're still talking to her body, literally in her brain, I have access and I can speak on her behalf. You're talking with Sonichu here.
That's going to be the question that I ask you when I'm done with the intro, and you can explain that for everybody who's just heard about you.
Okay.
That's perfect. Every civilization has its defining epic hero. Those personas who enthrall us with unique exploits and who traverse the singularly difficult problems of existence, and through whose struggles and triumphs we see a little bit of the best of ourselves. The Greeks had Achilles. The Greeks and the Romans had Aeneas. The Britons had King Arthur. Citizens of the internet have Mrs. Christine Weston Chandler. And her own evolution is so packed full of details that one YouTube creator has a perpetual documentary series called Christian: A Comprehensive History, consisting of 40-minute episodes. Just 2 weeks ago, episode 44 in that series was released. Christine may be the most tracked figure on the internet, and that has led to over a decade of doxing, trolling, and harassment on a nearly unfathomable scale. She's faced shocking adversity, including unfortunate incidents at a GameStop, identity theft, the death of her father Bob, and her house, and nearly all possessions being destroyed by fire. Yet Christine has rebuilt, she continues to create, and she continues to evolve. Now, Christine, what would you like us to call you?
Yes, you have the body of Christine Chandler, also known as Christian Sonichu here. You got me, Sonichu, who can speak on behalf of Mama and her memories. You can still use female pronouns heavily, all things considered. Just wanted to make that clear.
So what was the origin of the medallion? How did you come up with that idea?
Well, this noggin literally has the eternal, all of its life it's had linked to literally our sister dimension, where the majority of us fictional characters, we reside in. This dimension is called C197. We stand and walk and talk right next to y'all and yet y'all don't notice us, but except for the very creative and psychically able. And Mama's had that all her life, and she was able to link with her self counterpart, our Christine Chan, as she's known nowadays, to differentiate from Chris Chan right here. Mm-hmm. And hang on, all right, go down here.
I mean, it's very famous. A lot of people know about your history with, and Matt mentioned it in the intro, just years and years of kind of being targeted and the doxing and the X's and everything. And how have you been able to handle that? How have you been able to bounce back over the years and still create online and still want to make more stuff online, having been subjected to that stuff over the years?
One moment and one day at a time.
On October 30th, Sonichu live-streamed his reaction to watching the 6th and final episode of the My Little Pony-themed animated series Analysis Anarchy, Red vs. Blue.
I've been pretty much living a very active lifestyle. I mean, not everybody is able to do that. I mean, the most active anybody can get with their boring settings upon all things considered, and I am not stereotyping anybody or whatever, but yeah, I'm essentially recreational exercising, running on a treadmill, lifting weights, so on and so forth. I mean, not everybody's got to be tough, durable, and able. And then there's the 1% or less that, just destined to be overpowered and immortal and everything. So the work that Mama does in this thing, it's very difficult. It's like literally custom tailor-made for only her. It's very serious. I thought I could do it, but obviously, too much for me and my overpowered lightning speed and everything, and as much mentality and intelligence as I got, would help everybody. So there's that.
It's time to kick legs and chew bubblegum.
Not a bubblegum.
Here you go.
Yum, yum, yum. What flavor? Blueberry. But it's blue. Translation? No chickens!
Everyone quiet!
On November 3rd, Sonichu and Barbara went to vote in the US presidential election. Over Discord, Sonichu told Lanchu that Barbara had voted for someone other than incumbent President Donald Trump, while Sonichu himself voted for the Simpsons character Lisa Simpson, since it was supposedly predicted in the cartoon series that she would become president after Trump finished his term. The next day, the alleged Sonichu answered a batch of 10 fan-submitted questions that were provided to him by Watchman Anaxis, playing the part of Lanchu. Sonichu noted that he and Chris had mixed feelings about Chris Chan being the reason for the creation of the Kiwi Farms website, as even though there was resentment and hurt because of the site, it did spawn a great number of creative individuals, as well as host useful information and intel. He then noted that Christine had experienced paranormal entities, such as ghosts, numerous times, like in the aftermath of Chris's aunt Karina's death in February 2009, when all his past ancestors appeared to wish him well on his trip to Cleveland, Ohio, to rescue his purported love interest, Julie, from the troll Clyde Cash. He also elaborated that it was difficult adjusting to being in Christine's body since she was much taller than Sonichu, and expressed his disappointment with the limitations of Dimension 1218 and his inability to run as fast as the speed of sound. At around that time, Sonichu began actively watching the long-form YouTube documentary series made by Watchmen the WCT, which focused on lolcow and mass shooter Randy Stair, who had believed in an alternate dimension where original characters based on the universe of the cartoon series, Danny Phantom, in addition to the character Ember McLean, would worship and commit mass shootings with him upon his reincarnation as his so-called Ghost Sona, the transgender Andrew Blaze. Steer had gone on to kill 3 people at a supermarket in Pennsylvania before killing himself in 2017. On November 6th, the supposed Sonichu posted a tweet thread on Twitter mentioning Randy Stair's alter persona, Andrew Blaze. Hey everyone, Sonichu here. Just to let you know, but on the fact that after more than 7 months, I am still in Mama Chris Chan's body, here. and that our focus has been mainly on the dimension merge and getting myself with this body safely and well into C197 as soon as possible in the remainder of this timeline. Until further notice, after Mama and I finally switch back in the new timeline, I'm not doing any art commissions. Interviews are doable, but all scheduling and setting up is to be done through Null himself. I will not be able to personally respond to any inquiries during this time. If you all want something in comparison to what Mama and I have been going through, you can look up Miss Andrew Blaze and look up what she went through in communicating with her OCs in the spiritual realm between our dimensions 1218 and C197, as well as into and with C197. But instead of mass murder or suicide, we have no intention of getting our Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu involved in any of that, and this body is to remain alive for millions of years or so. Not gonna be offing this body anytime, period. So you all have no need or concern to make up such theories on the contrary. Also, the fact that a lot of you make correlations between Mama and other online celebs that she had never ever known or personally met beforehand. Static, not cool. I pray to Mama and all of the other deities that each and every individual in this dimension understands that. Thanks. Lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt emojis. Sonichu then shared an audio recording with WCT, which purported to document Randy Stair's possession of Christine's body.
It's Sonichu here. I'm doing this audio recording for you because I got a valuable friend here who has a very important message for you. She came all the way from the netherworld, pretty much the ghost world. She just watched all your videos about her, and she just appreciates you very much on having been a fan and understanding what she was going through. Anyway, she's in this body with me, so I'm going to let her speak now. This is Randy Stair, Andrew Blaze. Yo, Wildcat. So rad. I'm in the body of Christian here. I've been living 3 years gone from this world. You would say that that's just too long for anyone, right? I know. But at least you got the message what I was going for. I mean, shoot, people have been getting injured or dying around me all my life. So, how else was I to react with my mental handicaps and everything? But yeah, I came out totally woman and everything. I mean, yeah, the transition was definitely genuine with me. I just didn't go for the bottom. I mean, didn't have enough time to do that anyway, all things considered. But yeah, message from that mass suicide murder thing I did that time was essentially just, me recruiting for my EGS, for my Ghost Squad. I mean, it was quite a thing. I mean, shoot, I killed myself and I went to limbo, and I didn't last long in limbo because Ember found me there and she brought me to the dead world, But yeah, everybody who's been dying within the past few months or so has definitely been ending up in their respective counterparts' bodies in the opposite dimension. The merge is happening just as Chris Chan and Sonichu and Magic Chan, everyone else have been saying, and we all in the ghost world have been just witnessing all the ghosts just not stopping into limbo, just going into the other dimension. And I have seen into dimension C197 while I was alive as well, not just the dead world, I mean, I had my share of righteous visions into other dimensions and whatnot, and that's borrowing from the dialogue that's in this brain. I mean, that's the thing when you possess somebody else's body, you gotta work within their vocabulary and their limitations and whatever. But still, it's me, Randy Stair. I mean, you can tell from the way I'm talking here. I mean, I definitely found myself after I passed on, obviously. And I'm happy. I'm doing good. You could say I was definitely one of the earlier noted examples of somebody coming from 1218 into C197, or in this case, the ghost dimension in between our two dimensions, which that's just far out. Anyway, the merge is going to happen, and Chris Chan's powers and abilities are genuine. She's even got a whole bunch of other ghosts and spirits helping her out as well. It's a real chill group around here at this temple, this house. You call this house a temple? Huh. Well, I guess it is true. This is sort of temple-like. Wildcat, thank you so much for chronicling as much of my life as possible with everything that I've talked about and I uploaded onto the internet. You rock, dude. You stay awesome. You're gonna be alive for a very, very long time, man. Alright. Anyway, take care. Thank you. Well, she's definitely satisfied. Well, there you go, Randy. Thank you for sharing your message, and Wildcat, at least you got to listen to that. So, I mean, it's not necessarily an interview with Randy herself, but you might get to talk with her in person yet, but that'll do for now, I suppose. All right, talk to you later. Thanks a lot.
On November 8th, Christine's YouTube account published Sonichu's Goochland Public Library sermon, as edited by Prater, which led to the revelation of most of the true identities of the organization's members by Kiwi Farms. On November 12th, a user of the film and television-themed message board on the site 4chan created a thread claiming that they were in contact with Chris Chan and were asking for suggestions on how to best take advantage of her. They further shared that there was a possible group of individuals, including the poster, who were striving to encourage her to join a cult, in addition to convincing her that certain Japanese anime and games were real. They shared screenshots of their text conversations, during which they played online chess, noting that Chris was better at chess and checkers than the average person. It is theorized that this person was Bella Jank, who had an affinity for chess, being an administrator of the apparent official Discord server for the chess club of her university, Texas Tech University. The next day, Chris or Sonichu posted the completed animation created by Bella on Christine's YouTube channel, with Christian Sonichu providing lead vocals for the theme music. When asked, Sonichu elaborated on Twitter that the animation would serve as a new introduction for all Chris's future YouTube videos. On November 15th, Prater went to Instagram to share a screenshot of two of their online purchases, a plastic Pikachu mask and a taser, hinting that they would be used in a future video. During this time, the supposed Sonichu became involved with the community of Sonic World, a fan-made video game that had the ability of being heavily customizable with the use of fan-made mods. Chris's Discord account had joined the official Sonic World DX Lounge server, and Sonichu began requesting that people create a mod that would enable him and others to play as Sonichu, as well as other notable characters such as Christian Sonichu and Rosechu. On November 16th, Sonichu found a Sonichu mod created by ones Cirrus Fire and Sacktree in 2017 and asked in the Discord for their contact details to express his gratitude to them. A day later, Sonichu shared an audio clip in which he recites an array of lines of dialogue from Sonichu, Rosechu, Magichan, and Christian Sonichu, implying the voice samples were to be utilized by game modders to insert his voice acting into the game.
Let's zap it up. Zap it to the extreme. I do it for my friends. I do it for my mama. I pledge my loyalty to Christian. If only Rosie was here. Hey, Rov. Hello. Ag. Let's go. I do it for my family and my loved ones. Take that. I'll kick your ass. What do you think you're doing? No! Yay! My wisdom knows no bounds. I have seen the future. Telekinesis, levitate. I got all the psychic powers. I see danger up ahead. Be aware of the glitch. Time to zap it up. Krakow. I ain't missing out on this. Take that. Zapping it up. Woohoo! Yay!
Sonichu would go on to change Christine's Twitter profile photo to the Sonic World model of Sonichu and shared the Sonichu mod on Twitter. Also on November 17th, Christine's Twitter account unblocked Jacob Sockness. Sockness then went to the Christian worshipping subreddit Cult of Quick to post about the update, metaphorically writing that she could put her key in the door that was himself, that could open up to the dimensional merge. Jacob further wrote in his own subreddit, Kidasuna, that he would apologize to Chris, and claimed that Chris's return was a result of his magical powers, which he used to gain back numerous friends in his life. Over on the Play's Discord server, Sonichu in Christian's body wrote that he had unblocked Sockness because he wanted to know what plans he was possibly scheming. The Watchman disapproved of his actions, as Watchman Kyle, or Nova, volunteered himself to keep tabs on Sockness instead of Sonichu. When asked why would Jacob need to be carefully observed, Sonichu reflected back to one of his past rituals, in which he attempted to summon Christine via a DIY golem in his home in San Francisco, California. While the ritual failed its intended purpose, Sonichu claimed that it resulted in summoning a mass number of Christian doppelgangers, or Chris's biologically unrelated physical lookalikes, that were all born into Dimension 1218 on February 24th, 1982, Christopher's birth date. He noted that past troll, Liquid Chris, was one of such doppelgangers. Nova reasoned that Christine's noted facial blindness may have caused her to think that there were many individuals around her that looked like her. As the Watchman continued to chastise Sonichu and emphasize that Jacob Sockness was an idiot who could neither do nor say anything of note, Sonichu reblocked his account and cried to dismiss the subject of conversation. On November 18th, the Crimson Libertarian, a Christian follower, asked Sonichu over Twitter if he could read and review the focusing on Christians' earlier years in Manchester High School. Sonichu agreed and asked to be sent the pages for consideration. About 4 hours later, he posted a YouTube video reading through and critiquing the fanfiction story.
I'm going to be taking a look at a rough draft of a fanfic, or possibly a retelling of a past event. Anyway, it's based on Mama's real-life event, finding Bionic the Hedgehog back in the high school days and so forth. But anyway, my friend Sonichu, based on the life and works of... She doesn't go by Christian anymore. She goes by Christine, alright? Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu is her full name. You might want to fix that. Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu. Alright? So this guy opens up with black screen with white text. Manchester High School, November 13th, 1996. Thursday. Dude, look at the calendar for this. Hope he looked at a calendar for this. You better double check. Top of this page reads Dodge. Why am I dodging? I fade in. Sitting on the bench wearing a sweatshirt displaying the Manchester High School Lancers team emblem is the somewhat overweight, even at that age, water boy. Chris. Yeah. Known as Christian back then, but she was not overweight at all. She was actually of slender, slim body type. She was not overweight. She was not fat. Remove that word. Is the slender, even at that age, water boy Chris. Alright? So there's your first edit right there. Chris stands up from a log that he was sitting on and walks through the brush where he eventually comes to a clearing. He gazes across the clearing and there he sees the classic Green Hill Zone level. Green Hill Zone area. It's the area. It's not just a level. It's part of the whole entire area. Classic Green Hill Zone level in the original Sonic the Hedgehog game. Parentheses, yes, really. Really? Yes, really. Really? Really? Yeah, really. Chris Fangasming. Fangasming. That's a word. Fangasming. Fangasming. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, it's as beautiful as it was on the TV! Look at this. Chris stands there, mouth agape, but is suddenly distracted by something moving from left to right. Close-up shot of the Sega mascot moving around at the speed of sound. I wonder who this could be. Yeah. Quick pan over to shot to Joseph Herring. Chris, watch out! Chris goes over the court, gets hit in the face with a basketball, which knocks him face first into the ground. Aye. The team goes over to see if he's okay, and Chris begins to spastically cry out like an autistic baby. The autistic baby. Don't insult Mama like that! Don't insult her like that! You could say Chris begins to spastically cry. I'm looking at you! And Chris nods, stands to go to the boys' locker room. Just to clarify, Mama didn't technically change clothes. She pretty much wore what she wore throughout the day as normal. I mean, it's not like she had a basketball outfit to change into, just because, just doing her job as manager, okay? Her job as manager. Suddenly, out of the blue, standing behind the locker door, a 3'3" bright orange anthropomorphic hedgehog. Suddenly, out of the blue, standing behind the locker. Hate the hedgehog. What? Just what? You need the word appears at the end. The bright orange anthropomorphic hedgehog appears. Obviously revealed to be bionic because my tagline, bionic. Hello. Chris sends startled and lets out an autistic screech. Lets out a screech. A screech. Remove the autistic. Lets out a screech of fear. In the process of screaming and defecating on his own. You do not need that last part. In the process of screaming, Chris hits his head on the locker door by accident and falls to locker room 4. I'm looking at you again. Defecating on himself. I'll punch you in the face for that! Alright, internal Manchester High School gymnasium afternoon. Chris escorted Bionic to the gymnasium and hoped to God that he's actually good at basketball, so I won't be caught out on his bullshit. I feel like that ought to be... Chris escorted Bionic to the gymnasium and hope to God that he's actually good at basketball and is right on finding that out. You're not calling out bullshit. There's no bullshit to be called out. It's fact. Alright? So that was a stupid statement to make. But in a series of three-pointers, making shot after shot after shot, it turns out the little orange... Not a bastard! You're not a bastard! Don't say bastard! It turns out the little orange hedgehog knows how to shoot. Alright? Let's take these items seriously. I'm giving them to you. And Chris walks out of the gymnasium, shutting off the lights on his way out through the set of doors. Didn't need to shut off the lights because didn't know where the light switch is. Didn't know where the light switch was. Plus the custodian takes care of that. The door shuts as the afternoon sun casts a shadow on the lone basketball for the gymnasium's window. Awkward silence fade out. Alright, so anyway, so that's my 2 bolts. You could do better on this, Crimson Libertarian. You could do better on this. Take everything I said and apply it to your writing, alright? Anyway, thank you for sharing this, and have a good day. Be safe. Thank you.
In the video's aftermath, Sonichu tried to contact the writer over Twitter, but they deleted their original tweet calling for his attention and soon after blocked Christine's account. On November 22nd, Sonichu wrote in the place that he had fallen under a couple of trances and had seen some visions, including one of the near future. It involved one of Chris's doppelgangers who was working in Manchester High School. He was supposedly to do something in front of other students before passing away, and his energy and power would flow into Christine's body, allowing it to become overpowered enough to break the Iron Curtain. The Watchman found the premonition to be morbid, with Sonichu clarifying that the event would be mostly good, but it would include Chris's doppelganger dying of unspecified causes in front of a group of students. With a dimensional merge perpetually approaching, but never arriving, Christine reached out to any conceivable source of media that could reassure her that her reveries would come true, seeking guidance in Randy Stair's history and twisting past events to make them fit into her personal reality. Though as hard as the Watchmen may have tried to keep her grounded, they were powerless to stop her wandering mind from leading her into troubles that they could never imagine. What has fascinated? This is the story of Chris Chan. On November 26, 2020, Sonichu, while still supposedly in possession of Christine's body, wished her followers a happy Thanksgiving holiday, sharing a recent drawing of Sonichu and Rosechu. Also on that day, Sonichu created a new account on Game Banana, a website dedicated to users sharing game customizations and modifications, or mods. He proceeded to upload a mod for the game Sonic World DX, originally created 3 years prior by Cirrusfire and Sacktree, which added Sonichu and other features from Quickfill into the game. Sonichu had further customized the mod himself by changing some icons, music, drawings, and original voice acting. He then shared a download link to it on Chris's Twitter account. The supposed Sonichu then proceeded to record further sound bites for his own character that were to be used in the mod.
Yeah! Zap! Krakow! Doing it for Mama Christian and everyone. Here we go! That breeze feels nice. Krakow! Ugh! Woo! Feel the breeze! A D? Darn glitch. Holy crap! Player, we could have done better. Sweet! An S for Sonichus and Rosechews everywhere!
Sonichu, using Chris's YouTube account, also left a comment on the YouTube video from Cirrusfire, which announced the creation of their Sonichu mod. He expressed his thanks to the pair of developers and noted that there was still room for improvement. Cirrusfire publicly liked, or hearted, the comment. On November 27th, Sonichu over Discord direct messaged OpusCon789, who had written a fanfiction story starring Sonichu, Chris Chan, and YouTuber Project SNT's original character, SNT, which had drawn criticism from Christine in late 2019. When asked by OpusCon of his identity, the alleged Sonichu wrote that it was Chris-chan talking to him and wanted to let the writer know that they were currently reading his sequel to SNT vs. Sonichu and that they were enjoying his fanfiction so far. He then revealed that he was in fact Sonichu, supposedly in Christine's body, and had withheld that fact out of fear of frightening OpusCon 789. Sonichu elaborated that the fanfiction chronicled the events of a dimension other than C-197. He corrected some misconceptions found in the story about Chris, and encouraged the writer to watch Christine's read-through of the second half of the original story on YouTube, which OpusCon had seen already. Soon after, the alleged Sonichu suggested to OpusCon 789 that he should play the game Sonic World, especially using the mod which added Sonichu as a playable character, which had been apparently improved upon with Sonichu's modifications. The writer declined the suggestion as he was not an avid game enjoyer. On November 28th, Sonichu wrote an extended tweet thread in response to his grievances regarding OpusCon 789's SNT vs. Sonichu trilogy of stories. He wrote in part, "Hey, I want you all to just read all of this and listen up, because I, Sonichu Prime, have a lot to talk about right now. Firstly, I'm reading OpusCon 789's fanfics, and, hoo boy, do I have my fair share of grief against him, but moreover on all of the haters in this dimension, who have been talking nothing but smack against our one and only OG OC of all OCs, Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu. You all are stuck on past, outdated notions and ideals that she has literally personally repented, felt bad in doing, and moved on for the most part. Chris is not a freaking narcissist that you lot make her out to be. She does not objectify women or whoever else. She used to, sure, but that was years ago. She has grown up and matured since then. She is not a freaking man-child that you all want to hold in your memories." That is bull. And in response, Chris actually appreciates all of the amendmentons, including everyone having rights to bear arms, and she always has been for universal health care for everyone, including Obamacare. Sure, you all think someone like #Billy Mays would make for a good leader, but I got news for you all. In the few short months he was mayor of Quickville, he was a major do-nothing and had nothing in his brain about politics. And there are such things as electoral votes within the offices. It is not freaking 5,000 to 1, freaking kangaroo. And Chris is not freaking fat. She has slimmed down, and she has breasts, which, let's face facts, all boobs are blobs of fat, but they exist, regardless of gender. Whoop-de-doo. And another thing, do you all know when was the actual last time Chris went out looking for a sweetheart? Years. The last one and over with was that freaking fat fetish troll. Ever since, she has not sought anyone, and her mind has not been on sex for most of nearly a decade. Why the hell do all of you humans focus so much on freaking sex and all of the negative things within that and force those labels onto others? Stop projecting yourselves and your fetishes onto others. That is just plain dumb. Nobody wants that. Let's take a moment to bring up Evan George, that ungrateful hater troll. He may have discovered Simonchu, Simon, not Simonla, but as Simonchu was still actually a sibling with Simonla, it is still valid. It is not a freaking uninspired copy-paste, slight remodify and regendering. They both already were existing long before either Evan or Chris covered either of them, and they both called their physical appearances and features as they saw them. Now, Simonla's and Wild's daughter, Sandy. She is not bloodthirsty or epic violent. She is more tame than that, and has good self-control. That one time that Chris in this dimension ended up chronicling, they had good reasons, as those haters nearly killed her mom. It's still just as traumatizing, and Wild Sonichu does not have a country bumpkin accent. His voice and accent is the same as Peter Quinn of the Guardians of the Galaxy, which can sequence well into the next topic, the relationship and workload share between Rosie and I, Sonichu Prime, literally have done more than half of the chores around the house during the free time when we are not out defending the city and whatnot. I clean up the entire house with the vacuum, I do the dishes, I even cook, and the food is delicious. And Rosie is not a sex object. That BDSM thing in book 9 was her idea. I did not put her up to it at all. It was a fun experiment between her and I, nothing more. And as Chris did end up chronicling in book 15 and others, I actually listen well when talking with Rosie about her problems. I help her with her feelings and frustrations, and boy did we both have frustrations over the recent months, since we were near, yet so far between dimension. She felt lonely, as did I, but now she is here in this dimension with me, fully, safely, and well with her body. I still need to get myself and this body to Quickfill, true, but that return portal is still very difficult to manifest from the side of the Iron Curtain. And Jacob Sockness and his cronies are completely unable to manifest one either. Off note, we have fire departments in Quickville. Bubbles is not the fire department. Again, that's a Sanin. And Christine Chan never dozed off or was lazy in her work over her time as mayor and defender of Quickville at all. She has worked very diligently and hard on her decision-making and political tasks, in addition to the heroic duties as well. Yeah, the sweetheart search. That was still a thing with her, but she always failed because of the chronicler clause Chris employed retroactively in 2018. And Christine Chen lost interest in the sweetheart search after 2010, when she literally and magically transformed fully and permanently from male body to female body with all of the parts, and very little body hair on her human form. Speaking of our dimension, once again, OpusCon987 ended up not accessing C197 in his fanfics. He accessed another distant dimension, different from C197, where there, everything is just as all of you haters perceived of us, but we are not. And that merge was between 1218 and that dimension, and SNT was taken away from C197, and so were the rest of us. Fortunately, it ended up becoming completely undone, but our memories still meshed with our respective self-counterparts there, and that was no fun. One last thing I want to point out about all of you bad trolls and hater types, including OpusCon himself. I'm just as surprised as all of you that Chris, in all of her wisdom, she is literally intelligent and bright. Never call her dumb or stupid again. Still cares about all of you alongside the remainder of the population in this dimension, who are the opposite of you lot. She sees the remaining benefits and genuine deep good in all of you. She is not dense or blind to all of y'all's faults, but the respect is there. Also, post-merge, the world will not be a Christian-run world. Christine literally works with all of the other deities, and they all have priority governing and protection over their nations and domains, respectively. A mayor is still present in Quickville for the lower political activities, but since we have a literal goddess with our OG Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu, and while she participates in the politics, she mainly works hard in greater laws, helping the citizens, city and nation improvements, and all of that. Same as Noir or Vert would do in Last Station and Lowy, and all of the other cross-nation aid and work as well, diplomacies included. Sigh, not sign, as Opus would spell it. But I've let out all of my frustrations for the time being. I pray to Christian and all of the other deities, all of you will actually offer a lot less hatred and misjudgment upon her, and the rest of us and the dimension merge, and a lot more kindness and understanding. Sonichu. P.S. You may retweet all of that above, or whatever. With all of the haters, hazers in this dimension, I feel like you all do not deserve the gods and goddesses, including Christian Sonichu herself, that have been helping and guiding all of you over all of this time. Also to add, in regards to our music, literature, video entertainment, and so on, in Quickville, it is not limited. The media we have is not only local and favorited, but also imported, exported, and a whole bunch that you all have here, and everything else we have in our world, from all around the world, and even throughout the universe. To go touting that on every channel in Quickville it's the Christine Chandler show, or nothing but I so need a cute girls playing on the Rido 24/7, that is not the case. We have universe-wide variety. Also on November 28th, the alleged Sonichu published on the original story publishing platform Wattpad a supplemental chapter for SNT vs Sonichu that served as a link between Part 2 and Part 3 of the fanfic. written in response to his displeasure at the storyline, correcting all details that were apparently incorrect in the story. In part, Sonichu reprimanded Opuscon for prioritizing his college studies over correcting the damage his chronicling caused in another dimension's Earth, perceiving the described horrific events and violent deaths as factual events. Opuscon wrote on the QB forums that he intended to not read Christine's story as to not influence his own fanfiction. In the last days of November, Sonichu talked in length to the Watchmen, or members of the Play's Discord server, about Opuscon 789 and his story. Sonichu reflected that he wrote his supplemental Chapter 2.5 as a means to possibly intimidate Opuscon from writing any further. He considered that the writer was in fact intimidated by him, as he blocked Chris's Wattpad account to prevent Sonichu from reading any more of the story. Sonichu in response then created a new account. Watchman Nova called Sonichu's actions vindictive and petty. The alleged Sonichu reasoned that his vengeful actions were justified, as Opuscon's interdimensional acts of murder and world defacement were comparable to the acts of the Idea Guy. The Watchmen disagreed and hoped to help Sonichu defuse the dispute. Watchman Not suggested that if Sonichu were to continue to acknowledge the fanfic, it would only validate Opuscon's stories, and, along with Nova, called for him to ignore it. Sonichu in response felt he couldn't, as that would mean the causation of dimensional chaos between dimensions 1218 and C197. Later on, Watchman Maker Nightfee suggested that Christine could adopt Project SNT or Courtney's original character, SNT, and use her in her comics. Sonichu stated that currently it would be difficult for Chris to adopt SNT. On December 2nd, seemingly Christine tweeted at Project SNT's account, along with adding Opuscon 789 as a hashtag, asking the two if they knew where she was, attaching a drawing of Chris-chan Sonichu and SNT in an altered version of a scene depicted in the fanfic, as an attempt to influence Opuscon's story. A Twitter user called for Chris to stop bothering Courtney, as she did not want to play pretend with her, a plea which Christine memishly and mockingly dismissed. On December 3rd, Chris's Twitter account liked a posted photo of a plush doll depicting police brutality victim George Floyd, wearing a Sonichu medallion. Also on that day, Sonichu wrote in the place of the Chandler's financial troubles, with Barbara having less money for herself after automatic collection of overdraft fees and Chris's Patreon earnings for the month amounting to less than $30. The supposed Sonichu considered to cancel some subscriptions to save money, but was confident that during December, Sonichu and Christine's body would fully traverse into C197. The next day, Sonichu told the Watchmen that he had logged into Chris's QB Farms account and found Opuscon 789's account on the site, reflecting that his replies in regards to their dispute were dismissive. He checked if SNT's creator Courtney had an account on the site, but found that she had none, and learned from Opuscon's comments that she was distancing herself from the SNT versus Sonichu debacle, calling her inaction neurotypical. The Watchmen tried to convince Sonichu in Chris's body that his pursuit of Opuscon was not worth the trouble, an opinion Sonichu denied, further writing that after the dimensional merge was complete, Opuscon would be made an example of for his sins against a multitude of dimensions, calling his actions worse than the trollsome acts by Clyde Cash and Blue Spike. On December 4th, Chris as Sonichu answered another batch of questions sent by Watchmen and Axis as Lanechu, after putting the task off for a month. Sonichu revealed Christine's favorite episode of the adult cartoon series, South Park, provided some advice for improving one's drawing skills, and listed her idealized list of cast and crew for a hypothetical Sonichu movie. Concerning her best friends, Sonichu stated that Magi-chan Sonichu and Sonichu himself were her closest friends in C197. However, in Dimension 1218, her closest friends all eventually moved on with their lives and no longer contacted her. As her top 3 friends, Sonichu listed Sarah Hammer Spicer, Anna McLaren, and Megan Schroeder. Concerning Sarah, he reflected that Chris lost contact with her when she married and moved away from him. Anna, while initially trollsome, became a great friend to Chris, but was scared off from contacting her again after QB Farms administrator, Null, had sent her quote-unquote dumb and stupid threats after Anna failed to help Chris upon finding out that Christine was being manipulated and extorted by the Idea Guys. As for Megan, Sonichu wrote that she may be forgiven for taking advantage of Christian's kindness, generosity, and hormones, possibly referring to asking Chris to buy eBay items on her behalf in exchange for monetary reimbursement or DVDs. Sonichu acknowledged that Christine understood Christian was to blame for his impulsive actions that led to the end of their relationship, and apologized to Megan on Chris's behalf. In conclusion, Sonichu wrote that he would rather not receive any more questions to answer until after January 2021, for he was anticipating returning to Dimension C-197, along with Christine's body. On December 6th, over on the Place Discord server, within the channel to which Christine's account had no access, Not and Maker Nightv schemed contacting OpusCon789 or finding out his personal information. After Maker sent him a friend request over Discord, Not disclosed to her a list of OpusCon's social media links and accounts on an array of websites, a revelation that Maker termed beautiful. They also ridiculed the fanfic writer for hiring artists for some artwork used in his stories. Not then shared that he had sent OpusCon a direct message on Kiwi Farms, in which he shared all the social media links he had found. OpusCon then pleaded for him to not look further into his older online activity, as he was younger and admittedly stupid. He took Not's threat of doxing as a reminder to delete his older accounts, and revealed that he was simply writing his stories for fun and did not want the attention he was receiving. On December 7th, a Twitter user tweeted at Christine's account, asking for her opinion on the concept art for the hypothetical cartoon series Adventures of Sonichu the Zaphog, inspired by the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog series of 1992, along with lyrics for a proposed theme song. Sonichu, using Chris's account, replied, writing that for the song, the creator should get a female singer and record it, and make it into an MP3 format sound file. 2 days later, the supposed Sonichu recorded more voice parts for his modified Sonichu mod for Sonic World, playing the parts of Magi-chan and Chris-chan Sonichu.
Your mind is moot. No words, only thought. I shall return. My abilities are hardly insurpassable. Levitate. Apex. Keep calm. Hameha! Time to answer some prayers. Time to draw these pages up. Hoo-yah! Another page colored in. Boing! Breathe it in. Zoom! Electric hedgehog power! Yep, we gotta see. Meme that up. I've hardly ever earned a D in my education. My brain and my mouth may not sync at times, but that was pitiful.
On December 10th, Sonichu tweeted that for the Christmas holidays of that year, instead of gifts, he asked for money to be sent directly to Christine's PayPal account, if people were so inclined. He further sarcastically dismissed possible future trollsome comments from her followers who may accuse her of using the money for Legos or video games, but assured the hypothetical trolls that this time around the money would be used to keep the family's bank accounts better afloat. The next day, Sonichu, using Christine's Twitter account, advertised the first batch of Sonichu medallions manufactured by Prater, which would be personally approved, certified, and blessed by Chris herself. Sonichu later elaborated that the medallions were replicas made from the cast of the original one, and that some were signed. At around that time, Sonichu began developing a new mod for Sonic World, this time modifying the colors of a pre-existing mod which added the Dragon Ball Z anime character Kale to the game, making her appear more like human form Chris-chan, both in her classic Chris formation and her modern feminine form. On December 14th, Sonichu recorded voice acting lines for the Sonic World mod, this time playing the parts of Chris-chan of the past and present.
What woman? Shut up, Julie Blue Spike! Let's rock this 4-cent garbage down! Don't trust them haters over there! Sing along! Let's go out and zap to the extreme! Are there any boyfriend-free women out there? If not, that's cool. in the name of love and honesty. On the news today, a lol cow. Bathing is better than Axe body spray. Woo yeah! Zoom! Whoosh! Pickle barrel. Revive Zordon! Electric hedgehog power! Well, they put my name in a hat and I just won. Don't call me fat. My body is slender, thank you. Christian and the Hedgehog Boys singing along the rock to a joy. Sonic's arms are not blue. An F in English? Ugh! Another bunch of haters bite the dust, and another one gone, another one gone, another one gone. Kameha! I'll show you. Chaos Control! Taste my aura. Commodore 64, the pro computer with pro power. Leroy Jenkins! Here's how we do it with Byzantine results. Gah! Calm mind, clear mind, meditate. Let's go. A good day between dimensions. 7 rings in my hand.
On that same day, the supposed Sonichu uploaded the mod onto Game Banana, which was promptly flagged for spam. Sonichu wrote in the mod's description, ***, before you go off typing in the comments section, know that A. I'm fully aware of the mods I've been uploading being essentially texture changes, but they all do have different and new voice clips that you all are missing out on by not being able to download the mods for yourselves. B. I know the pictures are bad. I do not know what button to press on this laptop to screen cap better. If I did, I certainly would have done so already. And C. I know you damned bunch of hater and bad trolls are here on the hunt of just about anything that is Chris-chan or Sonichu related. Well, this is not your place to hate on what we have on here. And a lot of mods for just about any game are retextures and revoices, but you do not see anyone that is not a hater or bad complaining. I do not. There is no difference between skin and texture, because it's essentially basing off of an existing character base from the original game. Therefore, all of you Jule effing lovers can shut the hell up. With that said, this is a retextured mod of a DBZ fighter to represent Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu in her human form. You get her in 2 variants, her present attire and her classic shirt. They both respectively have different sets of voice clips, new ones that are memeable on the classic variant. And the modern one has 3 bonus voice clips within its folder, and they each are wearing the signature Sonichu medallion, even though it doesn't show so easy in the above photographs. Download today. Do not complain, comment, nor flag this mod, and enjoy, okay? I, Sonichu Prime, have just had it about up to beyond 7 feet with this dimension and you poisonous lot. And I know you all are just laughing it up for the freaking lulz reading this. But mark my words, you all will be judged and sentenced by Chris-chan herself, and the other deities as well. And one more thing, I genuinely am not on this website for any freaking points. I am only using this platform for sharing these add-ons with you all. Good day. The supposed Sonichu also wrote a comment defending his mod as a simple texture change and posted it to the accounts of at least 5 individuals who had seemingly left disparaging remarks on Sonichu's profile page. Sonichu's Chris-chan mod was removed for improper crediting and wrong category placement 3 days after publishing. On December 16th, in response to a news article on Twitter which stated that a statue commemorating controversial Confederate General Robert E. Lee in Virginia would be replaced, Chris, using her alternate Magichan Sonichu account, wrote in reply that it should be replaced with a statue of Christy Weston Chandler Sonichu. 2 days later, Chris has Sonichu using Chris's account wrote a tweet thread claiming that they intended to work with an expert modder who could help him create playable levels in Sonic World, modeled after Quickville, and possibly Charlottesville as well, among other scenery concepts. During this time, Chris modified and published another Sonichu mod for Sonic World by recoloring Cirrus Fire's Sonichu model to mostly white and calling it a shiny Sonichu, inspired by the rare shiny form of Pokemon, with the distinction of having the shiny Sonichu mod retain the voice acting as recorded by Cirrus Fire in 2017. On December 17th, Cirrus Fire wrote a comment on Sonichu's Game Banana page, complaining that they did not give permission for Sonichu to repost their original mod with just an altered voice pack, and could have instead only created a new voice pack mod that could be added to Cirrus Fire's original mod.
Very well, there, my friend. Lead the way.
By Cirrus Fire's request, moderators of Game Banana removed Sonichu's Sonichu mod because he did not have sufficient permission to release it. On December 19th, Chris's Discord account was temporarily kicked from the Sonic World Discord server, with the administrator clarifying that it was because Sonichu had been stealing mods without permission. After receiving a warning, Sonichu rejoined the server. On December 20th, the supposed Sonichu wrote a long Twitter thread addressing the so-called stealing of mods. He wrote that he wasn't stealing since he was giving credit to the original creators of the mods in the descriptions, and that he was learning how to use 3D modeling software like Blender and Fragmotion so he could have more control over original mods, but was finding it difficult to learn all the intricacies of the programs. Sonichu further admitted that some of the details contained within the mods she used that were created by others had some stylistic errors, which he was not presently able to adjust, but thanked Cirrus Fire and Sacktree for their efforts regardless. He apologized for being perceived as an erroneous mod thief, but explained that he still had much to learn, given the fact that he was born as a Pichu in 2003, and had many times defended Quickville, in addition to helping out Planet Earth and checking out other dimensions. He closed by stating Christian's followers ought to have been grateful for the recently recorded expressions for the Christian mod, such as references to Blue Spike and Christian winning the Sonic the Hedgehog Sega Sweepstakes in 1993. In response, Cirrus Fire wrote on Twitter dismissing Sonichu's apology, highlighting that as he understood, Sonichu thought he was justified in republishing Cirrus Fire's slightly altered mod because Sonichu had made a shiny Sonichu mod with Cirrus Fire's voice recordings. On Christmas Day, Sonichu through Christine's Twitter account wished her followers a Merry Christmas, repeating the greeting in Spanish, Japanese, Chinese, Korean, German, and Russian. On December 26th, the supposed Sonichu confronted Cirrus Fire over Discord direct messaging for having his Sonichu mod removed from Game Banana. He defended himself by stating that he gave Cirrus Fire proper credit in the description, was in fact Sonichu Prime on whose likeness the mod was based, and that Christine owned their intellectual property and all that. Sonichu reasoned that he believed they were on good terms since the mod was a non-profit bit of data that was updated and made better by the very being on which the mod was based, a gesture which he assumed would make the original modder feel honored. However, Cirrus Fire's so-called misconduct made Sonichu feel rejected, and was willing to listen to any possible resolution. Cirrus Fire explained that Sonichu's reasons for legitimacy did not give him permission to repost the mod he spent many hours on, and would have gladly allowed for him to release a standalone voice pack mod for Cirrus Fire's Sonichu mod. Sonichu complained that by releasing a voice-only mod, people would not know how to implement it into the game without Cirrus Fire's mod, making it worth as much as garbage. He told the modder to ponder and stew over his ungrateful and selfish actions, for he will be judged upon by Chris herself. Cirrus Fire wrote back that the model was his alone, and Sonichu was not justified in retexturing, plus Sonichu's reposting was against the rules of the Sonic World Discord server. He told Sonichu to ponder and stew over being ungrateful and selfish for not being satisfied with a Sonichu mod that was meant for everyone to enjoy, and noted that in the case of making a voice-only mod, Cirrus Fire's mod could have easily been linked in the description. For this confrontation, the administrator for the Sonic World Discord permanently banned Christine's account from the server. Meanwhile, on the Play's Discord server, Sonichu revealed that all major troll personas of Christian's past, including Blue Spike, Blanca Weiss, and Gigliomi, were in fact in Dimension C197, chronicling all the trolls that were playing as them in Dimension 1218. This also included Clyde Cash, who was no longer human, and instead a really damaged red Sonichu. Sonichu called for this revelation to be posted on the Kiwi forums, with the expectation of having multiple people reevaluate their respective trollsonas. On December 27th, Sonichu wrote to the Watchman that Chris's mother Barbara scared him because she continued to sleep even though the two family dogs barked and howled loudly in the same room as her, while she could hear Sonichu from upstairs. He further noted that Barbara's face as she slept scared Sonichu. The next day, the supposed Sonichu wrote to the Watchman that after lengthy meditation, he learned about the Avatar state, a defense mechanism seen in the Nickelodeon animated series Avatar: The Last Airbender, which was introduced to him by the troll Isabella Loretta Janke. When asked about her, Sonichu told the Watchman that Bella was a friend of the group Praetor, who had recently created an animated video introduction for Christine. Watchman Nova called the animation gratuitously porny, possibly alluding to the numerous shots up Christine's skirt, giving the audience a glimpse of her white panties. Sonichu did not want to judge Bella for her stylistic integrity, and commented that she was cool to talk with. Later on, one Tom Campbell over Twitter reached out to Christine's account, asking if she or Sonichu would be interested in being interviewed for his audio documentary on Sonic the Hedgehog, perhaps mistakenly typing Chris's name as Chris Kruss. Sonichu replied tentatively with vague interest, while also clarifying that Chris Kruss was one of Christine's self-counterparts from a universe dominated by the worlds of Dragon Ball Z. On December 29th, the official Twitter account for the My Little Pony-themed convention, BabsCon, announced that due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, the convention had to be delayed again, now scheduled to be held in April 2022. 45 minutes after the announcement, possibly in response to these news, Chris Sonichu wrote in the place, as well as publicly on Twitter, that the merge was on, writing that they reached the apex less than 12 hours before, and that he and Chris's body were doing their part in focusing their power and energy into the event. On January 1st, 2021, the alleged Sonichu wished on Twitter for Christine's followers to have a happy year 2021, and for everyone to stay safe and well in the days ahead. When asked about the whereabouts of the dimensional merge, Sonichu replied that it was right in front of them, but the user's clouded judgment, dense with cynicism, prevented them from seeing and feeling it fully. On the 3rd, Sonichu received a package from a troll which consisted of a bottle of wine, a bag of gummy candy, a jar of dill pickles, and a 5-page letter with names of individuals Christine was to contact. Later that day, the troll, using the alias Miss L, text messaged Christine's phone, asking about the package. Miss L claimed to be the assistant to the Grand Master of El Anon, parodying the concept of QAnon, an apparent high-level US government official that initially posted on 4chan regarding President Donald Trump's battles against the cabal of satanic cannibalistic pedophiles that were the true rulers of the entertainment industry and the government. Sonichu wrote in reply that he read through the partially rain-damaged letters and took note of the gifts. He expressed his trepidation at continuing communications on the count of the association past trolling sagas had with Pickles, and also the use of Anon, meaning anonymous, in the group's name. He claimed that Magichan, Chris, and other psychics and deities knew generally who Miss L was, and foresaw all possible futures concerning her, and with some hesitation, Sonichu agreed to continue the correspondence. The next day, Miss L replied, explaining that El Anon was a shortened form of the society's original French name, translating as the Anonymous Society of the Transreality, specializing in other worlds and dimensions. Miss L told Sonichu that they would submit a letter of membership in his name to the society. Later that day, she updated Sonichu with an alleged list of Twitter handles of other members of the society who were interested in speaking with him. Meanwhile, Sonichu transcribed the letter he received and sent it to the Watchman for consideration, which largely consisted of El Anon's previous experiences with alternate dimensions. The Watchman immediately dismissed the letters and package as a trolling ploy, but Sonichu intended to carry on speaking with them. Nova suggested that Sonichu should reach out to Null about Miss L, but Sonichu instead insisted that they should keep this a secret from Null until they found out more information by themselves, because their intentions may still be pure given the lengths they went to by sending Sonichu gifts, which the others highlighted could be purchased from any given gas station for $10. On January 13th, the troll behind the Miss L trollsona began contacting the supposed Sonichu under the alias Larry Vaughn, modeling and naming himself after a supporting character in the 1975 film Jaws. He portrayed himself as another member of the El Anon Society, expressing his excitement at Christine or Sonichu joining them. Over the next couple of days, Vaughn encouraged Sonichu to contact a number of people via Twitter direct messaging, under the guise that they were all members of El Anon. Sonichu was coached in what to say, and if the Twitter users expressed not knowing about El Anon, Vaughn told him that they may be speaking in code. When Sonichu asked for a more identifiable message to send them instead of "Mr. Vaughn sent me," Larry Vaughn requested that he send them a pseudo-biblical quote focusing on King Solomon of ancient Israel. However, respondents continued to respond to Sonichu's words with bewilderment. Vaughn claimed that confused expressions simply consisting of the word "what" were a sign that the Twitter users understood. Sonichu expressed his annoyance at coded messages. Sonichu and Vaughn's conversation also revealed that Sonichu had been tasked with messaging German lolcow Rainer Winkler, also known as Drakenlord, who was contacted in German concerning contact with characters in other dimensions and other versions of himself. Chris S. Sonichu also publicly on Twitter asked Winkler to respond privately. The Drakenlord Twitter account turned out to be a troll creation. On January 15th, Larry Vaughn ordered Sonichu to contact all Twitter users from the provided list a supposed ciphered message, which purportedly detailed a secret meeting that was to take place. The coded message was in fact a segment of a lewd letter to a desired female written by 1920s serial killer Albert Fish. The text Sonichu was to send read, "Tell me when you want to do number 2. I will take you over my knees, pull up your clothes, take down your drawers, and hold my mouth to your sweet honey fat ass holes and XXX, XXXX, XXX. Eat your sweet peanut butter and as it comes out fresh and hot." That is how they do it in Hollywood. You won't need toilet paper to wipe your sweet pretty fat ass, as I shall eat it all. XXX, XXX, XX, XXX of it, then lick your sweet ass clean with my tongue. Sonichu requested a non-explicit version of the ciphered message instead. Vaughn claimed that the deciphering machine members of the society used required the specific characters of the message to be arranged in the order of that paragraph in order for meaning to be correctly decoded. Vaughn insisted that everyone receiving Sonichu's message would understand. Among those contacted with the Albert Fish quote was YouTuber Rogue Internet Man, who at the time was primarily creating Christian content, who tweeted out screenshots of Sonichu's messages, theorizing that Christine's account had been hacked. A couple of other Twitter users also shared their screenshots of seemingly Christine sending them unusual messages. Null understood this as an act Christine was coaxed into doing by a troll and advised her against bringing attention to her messages concerning excrement consumption. On January 17th, Sonichu brought attention to her messages concerning excrement consumption on Twitter, citing them as a voluntary mistake and apologized for it. Null then criticized Chris for bringing attention to her messages concerning excrement consumption. The supposed Sonichu wrote back that the apology had to be publicized in order for the so-called tie cutting to commence, while Null wrote back that this only gave the troll attention and would hurt Christine's reputation in the long run, hoping she would show more restraint in the future. No matter if their true intentions were for better or worse, Christine would prove time and time again that she would only listen to those who encouraged her beliefs of an idyllic universe that could right all her wrongs and change her life for the better.